Alright everybody, welcome to another edition of the Good Bit Podcast, and we are back for a brand new season, a brand new year. It's 2024. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I've not seen you. I've not seen the listeners since. They've not heard me since the last year, which by the way was 2023 if you're keeping score at home. This is our first episode of a brand new season, a brand new year. We're delighted to have you with us. Thank you for joining us this week. Iona, what a year we've had.
Oh, it's been a busy one.
Not necessarily for watching films because we don't really have much to talk about. But we had to do a starting point. This is the new season. We're here. It's a new era. It's a new beginning.
Yes.
Here on the Good Bit.
Yes, it is.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
No, I thought you were like going somewhere.
I thought you went. You said something like it was.
No, I said yes, it is.
I thought it is, and I was just going to leave you hanging.
Yeah,
what are you going to say?
Sorry, darling.
Oh, we're off to a good start already. So last time you were on here was, I believe it was October.
Yeah.
And since October,
Yeah.
we've been on holiday. There's
We
something we
have.
can talk about. Something that's happened in our
It was
lives.
ages ago.
I
though.
know. Went on a little November summer holiday, which was lovely. Playa Blanca in
Yes.
Lanzarote. How was it? We went with a whole load of your family.
It's good. You survived, so I'm happy with that.
I did survive very nearly.
Yeah. It was good. It wasn't as chaotic as what we thought it was going to be.
No, which was a good sign.
Because I've got quite a big family, and to be fair, it wasn't everybody. It was like the
Can you imagine?
sisters, mum and dad, and then my mum's sister, her husband, and their little girl. That's still going. Sorry, see, I'm getting distracted already. I really struggle to do the podcast when you're like doing podcast things and I'm talking.
Did literally nothing there. That was the minimalist way I could do it whatsoever. I literally made sure we were recording. I double checked the cameras and looked right back at you.
I know, but my mind I'm like, oh.
You're supposed to be an actor.
I know, but I'm like, you need to focus. It's like when you're driving, I'm trying to tell you a story and you're pulling into a parking space. I just stop talking. You're like, you okay?
It's
I'm
just utter silence when I'm
concentrating.
trying to park.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
But yes, holiday was lovely. We didn't
Yeah,
watch any
it was good.
movies when we were there. We didn't do any.
No.
I was going to say we didn't do anything movie related. We did find a movie shop. Remember? It was called like the Movie Vault.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Didn't buy anything, but
No.
it was pretty cool. I didn't expect to see that
Yeah.
in a
they
country
had some
like
cool
Tanzania.
bits. Yeah.
They had what? Sorry.
Cool bits.
Yeah, it was. It was all this sort of stuff that was like memorabilia, merchandise and stuff. And I was thinking, I'm going to take this home. There was like a big there was posters I would like and stuff like that, and like one of those big like Coca-Cola caps
Yeah.
that you put on your fridge and stuff like that. We'll have one of them when we have our own house.
Oh, very good.
But no, nothing to buy.
That
But
and the movie room. Jesus
some t-shirt, of
Christ.
course. Well, where are you going to do the podcast? Yeah, so you might have noticed, everybody, when this is definitely trial and error for a first episode of the new year. Got a secondary camera to do 2 angles, get some new equipment, that sort of thing, and we're going to do this. Well, I say this all the time, but we're back for a new kind of season. So whether it's an every week thing or whatever, or even if it's more than that, I don't know. But consistency is key, and I'm looking forward to. I'm feeling really motivated to kind of make it something this new year. And when I say it was a new start and all this sort of thing, we're still going to have a lot of the same elements of the show and that sort of thing. We're still going to have guests. One of my favourite things about the podcast is getting to talk to people and meet people that I hadn't met before, and even if it is digitally, over Zoom and that sort of thing. But we'll try and do a lot more in person if the bloody equipment ends up working. So we will be still, having that kind of format and stuff. I don't know if I'm going to continue with the whole like, okay, you're going to be a guest on the show, pick a film.
Pick a movie, yeah.
Which is a perfectly good concept. I think people like it. I think the fact that they're coming on to talk about a movie rather than talk about themselves, I think is a good thing. But sometimes it can be quite hard, especially, I don't know if you've ever had this, but like when you've watched a movie and you're talking to somebody, I know you're talking to me, but say it's not me, you're talking to somebody who knows everything about this movie, it's their favourite movie, and you just thought it was okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to keep the enthusiasm.
Yeah, it must be difficult trying to have a conversation if you've got different opinions, but then that's the interesting thing. But what I will say as a listener of the podcast is that it's quite nice when you're talking about a movie like that I've not seen, because I listen anyway.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, what are they talking about? And sometimes I'll go watch it.
Really, it's nice to hear.
It does make me go, or it intrigues me to go and watch it. Anyway,
my worry is that a lot of the listeners haven't seen the movie we're talking about.
Yeah.
That's my worry. I love how we're just having a production meeting literally on air here. But yeah, no, I totally get that. And I am very open in terms of that sort of stuff. Like, a very I dislike very few films. Like, even if I don't love it, I'll still find something to talk about, and I still like this part about it, or maybe the actors in it or whatever. But there's been very few times where I've not really liked the film. And then I'm speaking to somebody who's picked it, so it's clearly like their favourite movie or something. Closest thing I can think of is maybe Moulin Rouge with Johnny McKnight. And Johnny McKnight is like a total hero of mine, and it was lovely speaking to him, and that was what I was most excited about. Didn't love the film, but I like Ewan McGregor and stuff like that, so that's fine. I can appreciate the kind of choreography in that. Other one was The Evil Dead with Kelly Davies. I'm not a horror guy, as anyone who regularly listens knows. But again, I was like, I even told Kelly, I was like, it's not really my thing, but she was coming out with like cult 80s horror movies and stuff, and I was like, this is why you would do the podcast. So
very passionate.
So we'll do more kind of still with the conversations, whether it's, I don't like calling them interviews, but whether it's like conversations with people. But I don't want to just, we're in the new year, we're going to go beyond the actors. We're going to talk to directors, we're going to talk to writers, creators, creatives, producers, agents, photographers, costume designers. I want to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, I think. A good way to take it forward. And we will be still keeping up the film chat, as we say, because that is the essence of the good bit. So next week's episode is going to be about a brand new film called Maestro, which you may have seen from the short cinema run it had, and it's now on Netflix. It's a bit strange though when you see these new films coming out and then it's like they automatically get put on the streaming service. Yeah. Great, in ways, but also a bit kind of like, is it too much too soon?
I think so. I feel like, because you said that you went to see Maestro and then it was on Netflix, and then it was Saltburn, that's on Prime. And it was Neve that told my sister, she told me, oh, that's on Prime, do you want to watch it? And I was like, so already? Yeah. But normally it's like a few months before anything's then released to like television or like whatever it is.
You had to wait to go get the DVD or the video or the Blu-ray or whatever.
Which I quite liked.
Well, it's a physical media thing. I want to do a whole episode on how important physical media is. Yes, you can love a film, but if it's just up in the air, it could immediately be taken away from that streaming service. What happens if the streaming service dies or whatever? You know what I mean? You need to have that film. So the importance of physical media is definitely a thing. So I have a couple of ideas of people I'd like to talk to about that. But it's kind of what you would do. You would wait, you need to go and get it and that sort of thing, and then you've got that film, you can watch it as many times as you want. And I didn't like necessarily waiting to see it again, but it made it even more special when you finally got a hold of it and stuff. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was on Disney Plus in a matter of weeks. Yeah. Maestro, I think, came out in the Glasgow Film Theatre on the 8th of December. It premiered on Netflix on the 20th. So it's got a crazy turnaround. However, it's going to make a lot of people see the film. It might just be this time of year though. Oscars are approaching. It might be a way, let's get that same with Saltburn. Let's get, I bet you'll see a few of them. That new Emma Stone film, Poor Things. Yeah. That'll be out immediately.
Do you know, actually, I hadn't, maybe it's just me, I've just not really seen much, but I hadn't really seen anything for that. And it was the only other day I saw like a trailer for it, and it must have been like Instagram or TikTok or something. And then like she was at the Golden Globes for it, and I went, is that not just come out though? Like, how quick is that?
Well, a lot of time, what I don't like is when they nominate films at the Oscars and stuff that aren't even out yet, but you know, they can watch it because they're seeing early screenings and stuff. But a lot of the viewers, I mean, it doesn't happen all the time, but you need to kind of, I don't almost like going above and beyond to try and find a way to watch the film. I want to support it and watch it the proper way. See it in the cinema, for example. That's what I'd like to do. So I didn't fancy the film, but some of the things I've seen now, like the marketing they're doing for it, is really good, and just seeing her at the Golden Globes and stuff. So that's going to be an Oscar one. Maestro, Oppenheimer, Barbie. These films are going to dominate the Oscars this year. Saltburn, I think, as well, which I've not seen yet, but I've heard loads of stuff about. And there's a bunch of stuff. So and there's new ones coming out as well. But yeah, Bradley Cooper was really campaigning for that Oscar. He just wrote it, he's produced it, he's directed it, and he's starred in it. So he's wanting something. Yeah. So I hope he gets something, because he definitely deserves it.
Did he not do like, how many months or something was it? Or maybe it was, I don't know, I should have googled this, of training to learn how to conduct for like, and it was only like 6 minutes or something he had to conduct for, but he'd done like months and months and months of training for it all. Yep, and it's a 6 minute scene that is just one go. And I think he did it in front of an audience as well for the shot. That's nuts. So yeah, you need to watch it. He's one of those guys that's clearly just been like, I was known as one thing,
and he's changed his perception, but he seems like a really good guy. I'm sure there's stuff about him. It's kind of sad saying that these days. I think he's a really good guy. You have no idea what's going to come out, but I've always liked him actually.
Don't say that.
Ever since I saw him in is it Limitless he was in, and I saw him in a film called Burnt, and he was playing a chef, right? And it didn't do very well, the film. But it was the first film that me and Aaron Dockard saw with our Cineworld Unlimited card in September of 2015. So we went, okay, we got it that day. Let's go tonight.
Let's go. Yeah.
What's on? And it was a film. We were Bradley Cooper from The Hangover. We went to see it. We were like, oh, wow, really artistic. Good film. And I recommended it to a bunch of people, and they were like, Chris is so boring.
It's rubbish.
So I like him in it. And I've never watched it since, but I would watch it again. But yeah, so I hope he gets something. I think he will. It's a total commitment. But Carey Mulligan, who he plays opposite in that film, is even better. So yeah, definitely worth watching. Next week's episode, I might even release it before a whole week, but myself and then Mr. Ian Grieve catching up with Ian. And I believe he forgot to turn my mic on halfway through the episode.
Ian
so
Grieve,
if any audio problems
Jeez, oh.
any audio problems next week, blame him. He's an old man. He's an old man. But yeah, and also I've already recorded one that we did right before the new year with Aaron Dockard as well. We're reuniting of our original podcast, so that's going to come out. I always like doing that at the start of a new kind of time on the podcast, so that's going to come out in a couple of weeks as well. But yeah, we are excited to carry on in the new in the new podcast era. I'd love you to be, as featured as possible, even if we're talking about with other people and stuff like that. But Iona's going to take on the role as a podcast producer in 2024.
Yeah, not that I know what I'm doing, by the way.
I'm laughing
but
because
also,
I've literally volunteered.
You have to let me do it. He's like, I'll still do that, and right, you can do that, but I'll do that part. I'm like, just let me do the job. If you want me to do something, I'll do it.
But what if you don't know what to do?
Well, then that's when you show me what to do, and then I just do it.
Definitely. It's not that. It's just I don't want to say it's like a controlling thing, but it's like, for example, writing an email, right? I write emails all the time. I don't know, I'm sure you're great writing emails and stuff like that, but I'll literally...
Just ask Amanda.
I'm sure,
loved my emails in college.
I would say things like, maybe I've had a comma there. You know what I mean? Something silly like that.
Yeah, I know. Look, I've got Grammarly, it's fine. I turn it off on my phone all the time because it does my head in.
Well, I was thinking about getting it, but I was like, is that not just Microsoft Word, essentially?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, so anybody who's listening to this who maybe comes on as a guest, Iona's going to be the one that's contacting you. So yeah, in terms of movies then, so that you've been watching recently, or even in the past year, in 2023, we were trying to come up with ones that you'd watched and ones you'd watched for the first time, like classics and stuff, but you'd watched a lot of newer ones and that. Yep. Any that jump off the page straight away, but I know you're more of a TV show gal.
I am a TV, but I'm trying to convince Chris to let me talk about TV shows on the podcast.
I would have no issue with that whatsoever.
Yes, you would, because you keep saying it's a movie podcast.
No, I don't say that. My problem is I've not seen the shows you're talking about.
Well, you need to watch them then.
I'm a film guy, I've got no time.
Oh no, I love a TV show. Yeah, what was the one? Oh, Prisoners. I watched that, which was on Netflix. Jake Gyllenhaal, Hugh Jackman.
The weird looking guy.
The other guy, I can't remember his name.
Paul Dano.
Him. Watched that.
Great film.
That was just one night we put it on, wasn't it? And it was good.
That'd been on my watch list for years.
It was quite intense. They'd done a good job of like keeping the tension, whereas sometimes I get bored, I switch off. 9 times out of 10 because I know what's coming. I'm like, alright.
You're quite good at that, you're quite good at predicting.
Well, I feel like, I don't know, sometimes I'm quite good, sometimes I'm not. Depends.
Good film though.
It was good. What else have I watched?
We watched Jackie Brown. I almost didn't want to ask you about this because it is a pretty popular film.
Don't mention it.
I didn't want Iona because you didn't like it.
I'm never getting that time back. Never.
What was it you didn't like about it?
Because you said to me it's about some air hostess person. Can you say air hostess now? Yeah.
How would you have said it?
I don't know.
An air steward?
Air steward?
Airplane steward?
What
an air hostess, I think it's fine. Yeah.
So, that gets involved in like the mafia. I thought, mafia.
You're literally making things up.
No,
there's no way I would have used.
Or you said like crime boss or gets involved something.
I would have used the word mafia. That's
well, that's real, right? And that's what you said. I thought, all right, here we go. This is going to be exciting, right? I'm like, things are going to blow up. It's going to be really cool. Like car chases.
Yeah.
Not that I'm a fan of violence, but I was like, oh yeah, a little bit.
Anytime that happens in shows, you cover your eyes.
Yeah,
Chris, I don't
guts
like
and gore. Oh no, we'll come back to violence because Mum was watching something. Oh my god, heebie-jeebies.
We just talked about prisoners. I'm sure at one point Jake Gyllenhaal hammers a nail into Paul Dano's fingernail.
Yeah, at that point I looked away. Obviously, I'm like, don't really want to see that. But you don't mind, like, you know what I mean? A little bit of violence, a little bit of rough and tumble and all that.
You watch WWE but no other wrestling.
Yeah, basically.
Right.
And I was like watching this Jackie Brown, that's what it's called, and I was just waiting for it to get exciting and kind of fast paced. I thought, this isn't going anywhere. And
instead you watch Pam Grier for 3 minutes on a airport escalator thing. It's this long shot, just shoots her the whole time for an entire song.
Which now, I probably should watch it again. Now looking back, I'm like, alright, okay, I can see like how that's quite a cool shot, or like interesting, or why certain choices
it's to make you
were
think
made.
she's very normal and she's got an everyday life and stuff like this.
And I feel like Sin's watching that, and Sin's actually talking to you more about movies and listening to the podcast. When I watch things, I make more note of everything, like not just the story. Like I was so heavy on like the story and the characters, whereas now I'm like the whole thing in general.
Drama college ruined films for me.
Yeah.
But also changed everything.
Yeah.
And now and just made me love them even more.
Mm-hmm.
But they ruined films because I could never go back to watching it.
Yeah.
And it's just like at one point I got so into it, you know, just knowing the director's name just changed everything for me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is something they do. Oh wow, I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
You know, so things like that. So I understand.
Aye.
Well, you said you'd want to rewatch Pulp Fiction again. It was the same as Pulp Fiction. You were kind of like, what did we just watch?
Yeah, but see, that was quite exciting because there's quite a lot going on in that.
There's loads going on, almost too much at times.
Right? Which I quite like, because I was constantly, like, my brain was working and trying to, I was also trying to figure out, how does this all link up? How are they all related? And like, I was trying to do that because that's just my brain.
Are they all related? They're all one big happy family.
Whereas the Jackie Brown, I was like, well, where's this going?
Yeah.
Like, what's happening here?
Okay, well, fair enough. It's at least these films, especially Tarantino films, are not for everybody. Yeah, no, absolutely. And
right?
You know what? It's good to watch films you don't like. It's good to it develops your palate.
Yes, exactly.
Speaking of films we didn't like, what was that we watched with John Cena the other day?
Oh my god, we didn't even finish it.
I was going to finish it.
Freelance
with John Cena.
Oh, terrible. Oh, and do you know, actually, what was the other thing? Neve actually mentioned not a bad movie, but just like a movie that she was like, worst action shots ever, and it's on Netflix. Is it like Red Moon or Rebel Moon? That, have you seen it?
No, my dad watched it because it's Alison Brie as well, isn't it? That's right. My dad watched it because he likes Zack Snyder, who did the Justice League stuff. So, but I didn't fancy it.
No, Neve, we were sitting one night, like, what we put on, and she went, I watched a terrible movie. This is what it's called. And Dad went, play. That's how it went, right? And she went, why are you putting it on? It's terrible. We went, I would just want to see it.
You need to get your own opinion.
And she put it on. I was like, I can see what you mean. Like, there was too many shots, like different type of shots happening. And like, there was too many, it was bitty. And it kept cutting to different parts. And then like every third shot was like a slow-mo. And I was like, this is supposed to be like an action, like fast paced, like, oh, what's happening? Oh, you can't keep up. Oh, they're going to get shot or whatever. And well, I can't really remember what happened, but there was too many. It just kept jarring it, and I was like, "This, I'm not getting into the groove." Yeah, terrible.
It's not for you. That's fine.
Terrible.
So yeah, this film was on Amazon Prime. I believe it's called Freelance. An ex-Special Forces operative takes a job to provide security for a journalist as she interviews a dictator. But when a military coup breaks out, this is the longest description ever, in the middle of the interview, they are forced to escape into the jungle. That actually sounds amazing, right?
Yeah.
It's John Cena, who is one of my heroes, Alison Brie, who is great actor.
Love her. Brilliant in Glow.
But it's got a 22 Metascore. It's red on IMDb. I wanted to finish watching it. It's only now on 48. I'll watch anything. Unbelievably, not John Cena's worst movie. But yeah, I understand. We weren't going to watch the full thing anyway. We only had like half an hour to spend, and we chose wrong.
Yeah.
We should have watched something else. But I'll probably finish it.
You can finish it and then tell me about it.
I know. So there's our recommendations for everybody. It's a film that I don't love every film. That's something people always say. Chris just says that, you know, for the sake of it. I don't love every film. I didn't love Freelance.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Or The Evil Dead or Moulin Rouge.
Be like Twilight. Have we spoken about Twilight?
No, that's going to be a separate episode. I wanted to do one talk about the 5 films and stuff. Yeah.
Well, can we talk
What
about...
do you mean no?
Well, I want to talk about Twilight because finally Chris watched Twilight.
Yeah. What?
Thank you.
Was that the last time you were here? Last time
I
on the
feel like
podcast?
that was we said
Will I ever watch
next time I'm on the podcast would I finish
it? Yeah.
Twilight.
It's done. So no, we have to do a whole episode.
Okay, we'll
about
do
it,
a
we
whole
have to.
episode on that.
But yeah, I watched Twilight. I'm not saying that it was my favourite franchise of all time, but when
It was
I
terrible.
watched the first one, I was like, I've seen worse. I like the originality of the first
Yeah.
one.
I
Yeah, it's a
saw
bit
a
silly,
clip of Anna Kendrick. Was it? Yeah, this is what she was talking about. And they've announced some like spin-off series or something of Twilight, or is that right? I think so. I might just be making this up. Maybe it was a dream. I don't know. But there's a clip of her and she was talking about the first movie and she says, none of us thought it'd be successful. We thought vampires, right?
Right.
It was a book. And she was like, won't go anywhere. She was like, they didn't even have a wrap party for it. Thought, just
Really?
do the movie, that's it, done. Right, move on, next job. And then all of a sudden they were like, oh my God, we've got another movie to do. Which was quite interesting because it was such a phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the right word? Phenomenon?
Yeah.
That sounded... that really put me off. Phenomenon? I never used that word.
A phenomenon.
A
Yeah.
phenomenon.
Phenomenon was
Yeah.
a bit of a dramatic word for Twilight.
No, it's
I'd
not.
say.
Well, when you were like
A craze.
when you were like 10 years old and like there was the school bags, pencil cases, Team Jacob, Team Edward. It was a huge thing.
Okay.
I wasn't part of the craze at that age, but a lot of people were.
Fair enough. No, I can understand people getting obsessed about it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've gotten heavily into franchises before too, so yeah, all right, yeah, we'll do an episode about it. I've got it penciled in my wee notes thing in my phone.
Woo.
But we can't talk about them all right now. But yeah, it's something we're still watching. And I don't know if you finished it yet. You finished Succession?
Oh yeah, I finished
You finished
Succession. Yeah.
So I'm just about to watch the final season. We decided that it was never happening watching it together, so I
No.
gave Iona permission to watch it herself. And then just when I saw some of the stuff from the Golden Globes the other night,
Yep.
it's kind of put me back in the mood to watch it. So there's a promise. Next time we do a podcast, I'll talk about Succession as well.
Yeah.
But you can talk about it just now, but please don't spoil anything about the ending.
I know I won't spoil anything about the ending. I'll try not to. No, it was good. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed like the whole show. I thought it was quite cool, and the characters were all very different, which is nice.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of people were put off by it because there's so many unlikable characters.
But
I mean, they're
like
all
that.
scumbags,
But
right?
I loved
But
it.
that it's like seeing which scumbag comes out best.
Because
you
then
know?
you'd start rooting for them. You're like, oh no,
Yeah.
why'd you do that? And
Yeah.
then you change team, but it's very much like Succession. They were all constantly chopping and changing what side they were on, and yeah, it was good. And I won't say anything about the ending.
I mean, Kieran Culkin's character, Roman Roy,
Yeah,
absolute scumbag, right?
icon.
However, hilarious. You know
So
what I mean? You know, and with Kendall Roy, he's obviously like so many flaws as a character. He's a horrible person, but he's so insecure, and you want to support him, but then he
Yeah.
does something to it. So and even Shiv, a powerful woman,
Yeah,
really like an inspiration, but also a total bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
really
which
weird dynamic.
I loved. And her, in season 4, I don't know. I feel like did she ever really have her moment? I don't know, because like Kendall got his like breakdown moment and then kind of came back and was winning and stuff, but I feel like they could have done more for Shiv. I don't know, I'd like there to do like a spin-off series seeing more about Shiv, or like
Okay, so she
someday-
doesn't die. Spoiler.
I don't know, I'd like to see more of the family dynamic, because it
Okay.
was a really, because they had like their mum and all that in it as well, and
Yeah,
that
that's right.
the whole thing, it was just so,
I shouldn't say they're all scumbags. Cousin Greg's a good guy. Cousin Greg's funny.
oh my god, yeah.
But don't say it
He
because
was
he
great.
might be a turncoat by the final season. Yeah, so I'll check that out as well. That final season, just amazingly written show and stuff. But again, it's business heavy. It's wordy.
Yeah.
You need to kind of like, right, okay, we're focused on this. But I feel like it's made me quite not more aware of stuff like that, but it felt quite mature watching it. I felt like a really mature show because
Yeah.
it's like you have to understand the business, and sometimes I
Yeah.
don't understand what's going on, but I'm still following the characters.
Nobody ever does, and I think you can kind of just tune out, and then when they mention a word, you're like, oh, I've heard that before. Like in episode 1, you're like, okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I'm the type of person that'll Google it. I'm like, what's that? What does
Yeah.
that mean? And
Do you
yeah,
know what I got for Christmas? I got Josh Peck's autobiography, Happy People Are Annoying, I believe it's called. I wasn't expecting Josh to write something like not be a good writer or anything like that, but there's lots of like really big words that I don't know the meaning to. So I've googled like 4 different words in that book.
that's quite good.
So I guess that's a good thing.
Maybe it's just start making a note I couldn't say that. Start making
I'll
a
use
note.
this in a sentence. Word of the day.
Yeah.
I was quite disappointed with the chapter about Drake and Josh, because that's kind of what I was looking forward to. It's one of my favourite shows of all time. Wanted to hear the stories and that sort of thing, but he kind of glosses over it, and he kind of references the fact that he thinks everybody reading this wants to hear this story, and he kind of says something like, "Look, everybody, here's
Well, yeah.
it was a part of my life. It was a job. I moved on."
Yeah.
Whereas because it's a bit like Friends, for example. You know, you just assume. You know, if you were to see David Schwimmer in the street, he would be dead funny like Ross or whatever. You know. So, and also R.I.P. to Matthew Perry, who died when we were in Lanzarote, and I got his autobiography for Christmas as well. So I'm looking forward to reading his book next. Any nice Christmas presents this year?
I got some lovely pajamas and slippers. That's all a girl needs. Chris listened. You listened, didn't you?
Not only do I listen to podcasts, but I sometimes listen to my girlfriend.
Yeah, lovely perfume. I'm now trying to think what else I got. Yeah,
It's okay. It's hard to think on the spot.
I had a lovely Christmas.
That's nice.
It was nice, wasn't it?
It was really nice Christmas. Yeah. Nice New Year. Yeah, it was good.
Nice and festive.
Do you know? And it was actually so calm and uneventful. There's actually nothing to report.
Yeah.
Nothing to report. A couple of final things before we finish up this return episode. Do you have a favourite moment of 2023?
Chris, you should ask me this before, like when we're
Well,
on
it
the
just
bus
came to
coming
me now.
home. Because geez, I had to think about that one.
It just came to me now. My favourite moment of the year was probably one we talked about one of the last times Iona was here, at Money in the Bank.
I was going to say Money in the Bank, yeah.
Just going to the WWE and just with the upgrade of the seats and just a great time and trip to London, being with you. Like, just it was probably moment of the year.
That's nice, thanks.
Moment of the year. But Lanzarote was up there. Paris was up there. Had a really good year.
Paris was good.
2023. I've said that. I know it sounds daft, but it's one of my best years ever.
Yeah.
In terms of like life events and holidays and stuff like that.
I think one of my best moments or like highlights was graduating with my honours degree. Woohoo! It was a long 4 years.
So the COVID years.
Yeah. That was cool, and also doing the show. Part of the honours festival, writing my own show, which you starred in alongside the twin.
Well, I didn't star in it. You starred in it.
Yeah, it was our show. You were just there in the background.
That was good too. That was a really good moment as well.
Yeah. So, and I don't know. Hopefully, something happens with twinning. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. What about podcasts that you listen to? Any episodes from the good bit that you liked? Can you think of any episodes, any guests that were particularly good or funny? Or as you know, as an avid listener.
As an avid listener, now I'm thinking. I'm like, who did you have on?
Oh, Christ, right, doesn't matter.
No, I'm actually trying to answer the question.
Just the ones I was on.
It's always nice when like Ian's on, or it's like somebody that I know as well. It's nice. I like the ones where it's like just. I know you have people from like the industry, you know, and like other actors, but it's nice when you just get one of your pals on, because it's just like a nice chat. Yeah. Which I quite like listening into.
So like ones with Aaron or whatever.
Yeah.
No, fair enough. That's good. And then lastly, I don't know if you've watched any brand new films. You probably went to cinema a couple of times. Do you have a film of the year? Best film you saw from 2023, like new films? I don't know which ones you saw in the cinema.
I saw the Hunger Games. I saw Barbie. I didn't see Oppenheimer.
You like Barbie?
I like Barbie. Barbie was good.
Yeah.
We did. Done an episode about that one. I feel very Barbie today with my pink on.
Yeah.
Hey Barbie. I don't know if I've got you're asking me to pick a favourite. I don't pick favourites.
It's hard, man. It's hard.
There's too many. It depends like the mood and the vibe and what you're wanting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Iona's going to get a letterboxd account this year. She's going to try and log the films because we're going to be doing the podcast more.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a good way to keep track of it.
Going to do the podcast more. We're also now saying it on the podcast, so now I feel like I have to commit and do it. Yeah, you can download it on my phone for me.
Yeah,
Thanks.
That's fair enough. I know you're not really supposed to talk about Marvel films as being the best of the year, but I've got Guardians 3 as my film of the year.
Oh yeah.
Really, really enjoyed it. Loved the storyline with Rocket and stuff like that. I found it really funny.
And Groot.
And Groot, yeah.
Oh, the ending. Oh.
Yeah, I saw I think 25 odd films this year, like 2023 releases, and I didn't love loads of them. I really liked Guardians 3. I really liked Elemental, that new Disney film.
That was a good one. That was quite cute.
I really liked Leave the World Behind, which I kind of wanted to do an episode about. Really liked that one. There was a documentary about Cody Rhodes this year, which I really liked. year of documentaries. The Robbie Williams one was great. The David Beckham one was great. There's a bunch of kind of murder crime ones as well that were really, really interesting.
As always, my
yeah,
favourite.
so it was a pretty good year. I feel like in Oppenheimer and Barbie were both great too. I also loved Killers of the Flower Moon, which was that 3.5 hour DiCaprio film that we saw in the cinema. That was really good, but long. Yeah, I'll just quickly jump into my letterbox right now. Most recent film I watched though the other night, I watched The Terminal with Tom Hanks.
Oh, did you watch it?
I'd never seen it before and really, really enjoyed it. Yeah, I thought it was really good. It's not what I expected whatsoever. Not what I expected, but really good. Another documentary this year, Wham! That was good. One about Kurt Angle this year. God, man, there's loads of stuff. And shout out to Wonka, which I saw. It was the last new film I saw of the year. My sister really liked that one as well. We thought Wonka was really good. But yeah, so it was a good year film. There was nothing to jump off the page. I wondered if like 2023 was the last year that was like really suffering COVID wise and stuff. If like now it's like 2024.
Well, you also had all the strikes as well.
That's true. That's very true.
So that's possibly why we've also not seen much of said films and being promoted and all
Nothing
that.
was coming out and
because
stuff. Yeah, you're
nothing
right.
was being released. Nobody was talking about anything because they couldn't. So hopefully this year things are pushed a lot more and more people go to the cinema. And we might get a cinema card.
Including you. That'd be good.
Including me.
You know they're going to mention that at the Oscars. The strikes.
Yeah.
Not you not getting a card, but like whoever's hosting this year, if it's Jimmy Kimmel or whoever it is, they'll probably like mention something about the strikes and stuff.
And hopefully there's no bad jokes about Barbie.
No jokes about
Stupid
Barbie.
Golden Globes.
That's true. I can't wait to see the Iron Claw, the new Zac Efron film coming out about a Texas wrestling family from back in the 70s.
Oh,
That's coming out at the end of this month, I believe.
He looks quite scary now.
Zac Efron?
Yeah. I'm like, oh.
You come see this film with me. If you like
I'll come see it, yeah.
The story is crazy. The world is not ready for this story.
Is that the one where he murders them?
No.
Oh, right, okay. Who's that? You forgot about that the other day.
That's Chris Benoit.
Oh, right.
They've not made a film about that. They have made a
Just
documentary.
when you said it was crazy, I was like, you were talking about a wrestling thing the other day about somebody murdering something, and I went, is that one?
No, this is a story about
I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
this is like a family like ran their own wrestling company in Texas back in the 70s called the Von Erichs. And like there was like a family of like 4 sons, and the dad was the promoter, right? And at some point, don't want to spoil anything, but something like bad happens to almost every child. And like this real life story, you would go, this happened to who? And then what happened to his brother? And then what happened to him? Like it was just one after the other. So they've made a film about it. And Zac Efron stars. So that's like worlds colliding, man.
Wow.
So I've heard it's really good. So although someone's playing Ric Flair, apparently it's the worst depiction of Ric Flair ever. Ric Flair's one of the most like imitated wrestlers ever. Charlotte Flair's dad.
Okay,
yeah.
I was trying to think there.
Like, and even Will Ferrell, right? He's then imitated him before. Will Ferrell did a character on a show called Eastbound and Down, and it was like, it just was just Ric Flair. It was like long blonde hair and he had sunglasses up. They should have just put Will Ferrell in this film to play him, but apparently they've just cast this guy, and it's the worst depiction of Ric Flair ever. So that's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, so that's coming up. That's one I could think of, and Poor Things and a few other ones that are coming out.
Do you know what I'm excited? It's not coming out till November. Wicked.
Oh, as in a film. That's something we could talk about. You went to see Wicked on Christmas Eve.
Do you want to talk about it right now?
Yeah, go for it.
Went to see Wicked on Christmas Eve in Edinburgh, and I cried. I cried.
I asked you, so you saw Barbie. I went to see Barbie and I cried. That's just what I would have said on this podcast.
I cried. Yeah, I don't know. Wicked was probably one of the first musicals that I loved passionately and deeply. I like learned all the songs too. Like just loved it. And seen it in London. One of like the first shows I went to see in London. And then for Christmas last year, got a lovely surprise that we were all going to see Wicked. It's also my dad's birthday, Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
so
nice.
we thought, oh, nice. Family day out. And we were I was sitting beside Neve, my twin sister, and we just held each other's hands as it started. We're like, and yeah, Defying Gravity. Which, Defying Gravity, some people it's like, oh, it's a cliche, like whatever. But I was crying at that. But it wasn't because like the music or anything. I mean, that helps, right? But it was more so like from a performer point of view. Because it's such an iconic character and role. Like to say like your alphabet and this is the moment and like, and it's your flies.
Oh wow.
She flies, and like it's such a huge climax. It's like the end of Act 1, and like that's just the moment. So as a performer, I'm sitting being like, imagine being like, I'm Elphaba, I get to do this. Like probably
knowing it's coming.
she's dreamed of doing this role for like years, and finally she's doing it. I
And
was
you're
like,
crying.
oh, I'm so proud of her. Didn't know who she was, but it's like, so proud of
Yeah.
you. So yeah, it was great. I loved it. I was home singing all the songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a musical I've never seen, so maybe I'll watch the film that comes out.
The film, yeah,
Maybe a good introduction.
Cynthia Erivo.
Oh, very good actor.
Who I love her voice,
Yeah.
and Ariana Grande.
Oh, is that it? Wow.
Yeah, she plays Glinda.
I believe Cynthia Erivo is in a film called Bad Times at the El Royale, which I have in my collection. And I remember thinking she was amazing. I'd never heard of her. And there's a scene in Bad Times at the El Royale where she sings an entire song and it's total silence. It's just her singing.
Yeah.
I remember really going, wow, she's incredible.
Incredible.
So that's good.
Incredible. So I'm excited to see her. And I've tried not to I've tried to avoid spoilers on
It's
socials because they were filming, I think, somewhere down south. And people were like using drones to get pictures of stuff.
Oh wow.
And I was like, nope, don't want to see it, don't want to see any costumes, don't want to hear any music. Because people had recorded and they could hear like Ariana singing
Ooh.
and stuff. So I've just tried to avoid it. But I saw a clip of Cynthia talking about her and Ariana and them two singing because they've got quite different voices. And you think of Ariana Grande and she's like a pop singer. That's what she's known. Yeah, she's quite known for. And but she does our musical theatre background is like there, so I think she's going to be amazing. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
And Cynthia was saying that they just blend. She used a word that Ariana uses. It's like they worm together or something. They just work when they start singing. They just go.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to just listen.
Great.
So that's one I will not
So
be
November.
listening to the soundtrack before it comes out.
Yeah.
Or before it comes out, before I go see it. I want to wait and have the full experience in the cinema.
Do IMAX or something like that, like with the best audio and stuff. That'd be really
And
cool.
we'll have to go with Neve. Just so
Okay.
well,
You can go
either
multiple times.
we can go, or I'll go with Neve, or we can all go together
Okay.
as a family.
Good, that sounds good. All right, well, I'm really excited to get started again in the podcast. I hope that you're going to be with me this time a lot more. I'll get in touch with a lot more creatives around the country and around the globe, and we can try and collaborate a little bit more. Hopefully do some in-person interviews. I feel like I love the Zoom ones because it's really convenient, but it's like it's missing that wee personal touch, I think.
Yeah, it's nice getting somebody in the room, and like especially because they'll come in and then you get to chat to them and really put them at ease first, and then you can film.
Having a conversation and stuff,
Instead
yeah.
of
So
logging into Zoom and
yeah.
Which
just means we're going to need to watch more films together, and we can talk about it on the podcast.
we'll try.
I'm going to try and push myself this year. I'm sitting looking at my Blu-rays just now, my movies. I'm looking at like a bunch of French films that I have there that I've never heard of or seen. So that's like a wee challenge for me this year. I watched the YouTube video recently with Luke Ryan, Razor Wire Reviews, previous alum on the podcast, and he gave himself an ultimatum. There's a particular like Blu-ray collection that he has called the Masters of Cinema. So it's just like there's like, I don't know, 200 DVDs that came out from different directors and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Masters of Cinema it's called. And he's got all of them, right? But he's like only seen 102 of them or something. He's still got like loads to watch. So he's given himself an ultimatum this year. He needs to watch them all. I don't know if he's going to review them all on YouTube, but he needs to watch them all. If he doesn't complete the set by the end of 2024, he's going to sell the entire collection. So I
You're not buying it?
No, I'm not going to. No, but I just mean in terms of my collection. There's loads I've not seen yet either, and I keep saying, right, I have to watch them all and make a decision whether I want to keep it or not. Yeah. So I said, right, okay, I'll go along. I'm not going to sell it, but like, I'll try and challenge myself, you know.
I've just clocked something that I've not spoke about that I watched last year.
What's that?
Star Wars.
OMG. The first movie I watched in 2023 on January 1st was The Force Awakens, and I was with you at your house.
Yep.
You want to talk about it if you want, but you're not going to remember.
No, not really. I mean, it's good. You were quite... I cried and not
Star Wars. I mean, it was good,
No, you were quite worried. Not worried, but you kept like saying to me, right, mind, these were made like years ago. And you kept... Like, first time I went to see Jaws, time and only time I've watched that movie, and never watched it again. We went to cinema and you were like, right, mind, like, it was made a few years ago, like, kind of technology isn't as advanced as it is now. And I was like, yeah, I know. But I was still really impressed, like, watching it. It was quite cool. It was good. And that, again, that's one of the things... What was it? You'd said it was more of it was green screen. What one was it?
What are you talking about? With Jaws or
No,
Star
sorry,
Wars?
Star Wars. You were saying one of the movies was like they'd really pushed the green screen effects and all that.
Phantom Menace. Yeah, like the
Yeah.
prequels, they decided to go. We're going to
Yeah.
experiment with all these things, and it works in some ways, but also got a lot of backlash at the time. So when they remade they made the new ones, the Disney ones, they did loads of. Obviously, don't get me wrong. There's loads of screen and stuff, blue screen used, but there's especially that first Disney one.
Yeah.
They made an effort to use a lot of practical effects and stuff.
And the Disney ones were good. I just like Daisy Ridley as a person. Just think she's just.
I think
cute.
she's got a film coming out about her character. You know, I think they're doing that.
Oh really?
Yeah. So
That'd be quite good because
that'd be good.
you got some information, but
I mean, yeah, Star Wars though. There's always more to do.
yeah.
But yeah, no, that's maybe we should rewatch them. Can you imagine we do an episode about Twilight and you've been waiting to show me this for ages, and I went, "That was good, and then moved on. Jesus.
Well, we did watch it. Have we not done an episode on Star Wars?
Well, we finished them in like March, I think February, March. So we didn't really. You weren't on the podcast as often then. So it's a whole year later.
I wasn't needed.
No,
Jesus.
you're needed now. Please come and do it. So yeah, we've got a bunch there to watch.
Yeah.
See the weirder ones. I'm always like, Iona's never going to watch that. I'll just watch it. But we should maybe try and watch a couple ones we've both never heard of, and
The weirder
French
ones.
films.
No, the
and
weirder ones I'd be
Asian
like
films.
see like foreign films, or films not in the English language. I am up for them because I sometimes think I can enjoy them better because it sounds so stupid, but because like I'm English and I'm just watching somebody talk, I'm like,
You're
I
not
like
English.
whatever.
You speak English.
Well, sorry, I'm not English. But I'm Scottish, right? But when you watch, like, it's just another, it kind of distances you from the story, the character,
Makes
the
you focus
person.
more, I think.
And yeah, you listen and kind of pick up on more. I think anyway.
Yeah.
And I don't mind watching it with subtitles. I'm not watching it dubbed.
No.
That
puts
should
me
be
off.
illegal.
What did I watch? Squid Game. People watching Squid Game, like the original Squid Game series.
Oh yeah,
They
I've
watched that
refused to watch that.
dubbed, and I was like, why would you watch it dubbed?
Yeah, it ruins it.
You know what I mean? Shout out to the actors that did the dubbing. I'm sure they did a great job and whatever, but I was just wanted to see the original, thing. So, yeah, loads to watch this year, loads of plans, and we're just, to be honest with you, I'm not going to wait to be like, oh no, I can't do an episode on that. I need to wait till I've watched more, and I'm not going to have an hour's worth of content for that episode, or I don't have a special guest for that one. If we watch something, want to talk about something, we'll just do it. Get more episodes out there in the new year, the new season, here on the Good Bit Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. You can get us on the socials as always. X, there we go, at the Good Bit Pod, at CM42 TV,
calls it X.
at Iona _underscore Deveni, I believe is on your
Deveni.
Twitter. Instagram is at the Good
I
Bit
don't
Pod
use
as well.
Twitter.
TikTok, we're on TikTok now too, at the Good Bit Pod, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And what I was going to say at the start of the episode, which I never do, I'm never like one of those guys that's like, please leave us a 5-star review and all that sort of stuff. But I'm reading into a lot of like the analytics and that sort of thing with podcasts and that. What a difference it makes if someone was just to follow the show or subscribe to the show or give a 5-star review or whatever.
Yeah.
So if you're using the podcast app, whether it's Spotify or Apple or whatever, Radio Public, whatever we're on, Google Podcasts and stuff, give us a wee 5-star rating. That'd be greatly appreciated. And we'll be in store for a lot more episodes coming up in 2024. Happy New Year, everybody. Hope you had a good one. Hope you enjoyed this episode. And we'll catch you all down the road.